pool fans to this sparkling arena at the Gandia Palace Hotel on the stunning Mediterranean coast in Spain. This is the Predator Spanish Open, the last EuroTour of 2025. It's 10-ball, and you join us for the winner's second round, a matchup between the flying high Felix Vogel of Germany and the Serbian Alexa Pachel. My name's Gethin Davis, and joining me for this riveting match is my good friend and colleague, Aya Sarabi. Hey, Aya, welcome back, sir.
Hi, Gethin. Hi, everyone. Every pool fan watching around the world. If you can hear some noise on the background, that's unfortunately not to my any control. They've been working constructions all month, so that's I apologize in advance if you're distracted by some noise on the background. Looking forward to this one, though, Gethin. What two great prospects we have, particularly this young man here. He could very well be the next, maybe not next, but a replicant of Joshua Filler. He is an amazing talent, is Felix Vogel.
Couldn't agree with you more, Aya. He's won the lag and will get the break in this race to 8. Felix, not but a few days ago here in Gandia, Spain, took the Predator WPA Under-19 Junior World Championship. And, Aya, on his birthday even. Check that out. What a dude.
Look, when you can play to the level that he can, pretty much every tournament can be his birthday, as far as I'm concerned.
That's a very good point. Well, format for today, you have to break outside the box. Alternate break, however, both players will get a set of 2 breaks each. And it is double elimination. This is the winner's second round, so the loser from today's match will still be in this tournament. And as you mentioned, Aya, as Felix makes a dry break, this is another exciting prospect from Serbia, Alexa. We've seen some great performances from him of late, and he will be a formidable opponent for Felix. I think Felix will know exactly what he's in for, possibly Alexa too. He may have a little go at this one, Aya, into the top left. There could be an element of insurance as well.
What do you mean with the element of insurance? I mean, if I was to go for this pot, I would automatically try and play position for the 2. No, I think he's played safe there. He's used all the balls right in the center line of the table.
Yeah, very nice. No, insurance in the fact of maybe going for the pot and bringing the cue ball round maybe a bit more left, ensuring that there was traffic and shape on the 2. As it's turned out, he's played a pretty handy safe. And, well, there's a gap between the 2 and 10 if he can jump over the edge of this 7. Difficult jump shot. Well, the cue ball was travelling, Aya. There is a gap between the 5-6, but maybe he can just see an edge of the 1. Certainly not the potting angle.
Yeah, very limited with his options here. I think he'll have to attack. It's a tricky jump, but these players, they're very astute with the jump cues.
Well, not a bad shot at all. Looks like the 8 is hampering the 2 in this bottom left corner. So Alexa just surveying what lays out in front of him here. Oh,
Do you know
maybe.
what, Gethin? Do you know that? Are you familiar with the 10,000-hour rule?
In mastering whatever you do for 10,000 hours.
Yeah. So I'm trying to do the maths here. See, Felix Vogel, he's already done so much in his young career, and I'm trying to figure out what age was he when he was, like putting in, let's say, 4 to 6 hours a day. He must have been around 8 or something before when he started, like practicing avidly.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident this young fella has got to and surpassed 10,000 hours. I wonder if he has kept track of it, though. That'd be an interesting stat for him to keep to himself.
Nah, I mean, look, we're on that subject, of course. Any aspiring pool player will tell you there are days where you look to yourself and think, "Why am I even doing this?" So, I'm sure he's not, you know, counted up all the hours, but if he would track back, you'd say roughly 1,000 hours per year. So, well, I think he's, like you said, well over the 10,000 hours.
Well, he caught the edge of that too, and has left Alexa in a spot of bother here. Looks like he's going to go one rail with a bit of loaded up right hand side. Gets the thinnest of edges. That might work in his favour. From our overhead view, Arya, it looks like he can see enough of this
Yeah, the
blue.
two is yeah, it's definitely potable, but that four ball is a huge obstacle in his way towards the bottom part of the table. Might just be able to avoid it if he can put this one a little bit thicker. It's one of those where you just have to commit to the shot. No point in trying to be too cute with your cue ball. Yeah, so much so he's even refused it. And have a look at the cue ball. That is a very good safety indeed. Put his opponent in some trouble. Needs to hit this and get it safe.
Yes. Not a guaranteed safe. You'd fancy him for hitting it, Arya, but you mentioned about Felix trying to avoid the four. He had other things in mind. That's a really nice safe he's played there. Certainly over that distance as well.
Yeah, he's let it up. Well, that was a forced error, as we would call it. It's due to the great safety Felix just played there prior. He's now created a chance for himself to put the first rack on the board. It's not over just yet, of course. He'll need to play, I'd say, at least 3 or 4 very delicate positional shots, which is well and truly within his capacity.
Yeah, we had a very successful and entertaining Predator WPA World Junior Championships. We had under 19s and under 17s boys and the girls event. And I tell you what, the more seniors and veterans in the game need to watch out. These young guns are not only more than capable and well routined and well rehearsed, they're fearless.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
they just do not turn much down that's in their capability, and then they make it as well. It can really scare their opponent.
Yeah, their shot making will likely always going to be one of their strong suits. It's usually the tactical department, the mental side of the game, something you really need to develop over the years, and it only comes with battle scars. When you're so young, you don't have that much fear. It's over a longer career you create some doubt. I was about to say, because you were explaining The positional shot he played on the 4 was, I thought, a little bit careless. Anything but straightish, which he was, would have done. That's the main reason why he's, well, underhit this. He made it too difficult for himself. He's in a bit of spot of bother here now, Gethin.
Yeah, I think he called the 8 as a bit of insurance. Maybe looking just to try and 2-rail and get the 5 ball tracking up this side of the table. He's done that and pushed it past the centre pocket. May find himself in trouble after this, but made good contact on the 5 and didn't sell out.
Yeah, but this is a great chance for Alexa. Yeah, there you go. Not so sure if I would be content to send the 5 so close to the pocket. You know, it always gives your opponent a chance, a very feasible chance to pot it.
Yeah. Always the chance of a scratch as well, so does need to be careful. He's looking at the 2 rails. Lends itself nicer because if he hits it fuller, the 5 will go up the table and the 1 has a chance of leaking behind the 8. So, oh, it's straightened up off that top rail, Aya. Really did straighten up.
Yeah, what I didn't, what I failed to mention is I was just coaching him on some kick shots, and well, he picked up all the lessons I gave him.
Yeah, Alexa getting rewarded for his safety.
Yeah. You think, though, Gethin, from this layout right now, there's nothing in his way to put the first rack on the board, and, well, if I can say that, he would be brutally disappointed if he was to fail from this position.
Yeah, just needs to be a bit particular on the shape for the 9, as the 10 is taking the path into the top left. He was just looking exactly where he wanted to be to give him best shape on the 8. But I agree with you, Aya. He needs to be and should be converting these opportunities. And it will be to take one against Felix's break. Just had an absolute thriller of a match before this, also in the winner's second round. A match between Germany's Stefan Kasper and Petri Mäkinen. Petri Mäkinen was 4-1, 5-1 down and came all the way back. But Stefan Kasper managed to take it at the end. But it really was a case of Aya who could hold their break.
Yeah, at this stage of the tournament and with the quality we have, you know, partaking in this tournament, yeah, that definitely does not come as a surprise. And indeed, it is Alexa who converts that great chance. Yeah, like you said, the safety escape by Felix, it was pretty decent thought out, but I thought, you know, it was a little bit simple just to try and nudge it past the middle pocket, because that snooker he left for his opponent was a guaranteed.
It was. Well, the young German is back for his second of his set of 2 breaks. Just having a little quiet chat with Alexa.
Yeah, probably some trash talk. He's like, if you ever look at me sideways.
And while we're just waiting for that, on our other stream table, TV table 1 on ProBilliardTV's YouTube channel, we have a matchup between the Polish player Mateusz Snegocki, formidable opponent, and he's taking on another German hopeful, the Kaiser Ralph Suke. And it looks like Mateusz has just taken a quick 2-0 lead against Ralph. I wonder if that went with his break. So interesting matchup there, and all these matches will be available, well, for the rest of time, we hope, on the ProBilliardTV YouTube channel. So Felix trailing 1 rack to 0. Broke dry in his first. This is his second of his set of 2 breaks. Race to 8. Well, the 2 ball was tracking straight from the break towards the centre pocket, but got knocked out the way. And again, another try break for Felix, and well, he's going to need that to get working if he wants to keep momentum with himself. And Alexa has a good look at this one.
Yeah, it's a double whammy, isn't it, Gethin? It's not just, the fact that he's broken dry. It's, the opening shot is more or less a guarantee for his opponent. So at worst case, it just gives, hands in the initiative. I'm not 100% certain whether this 2 passes the 4. And if it doesn't, I mean, I'm sure by now he would have thought out some sort of a great snooker. He might just go, Yeah, it did. And that is a fabulous positional shot he's played there. Just enough angle on the 3. Had to be very precise. Might have to take his medicine and try to avoid flirting with the 8. I mean, he can use his or hold his cue ball to the left side of the table. Leave himself a little thin cut. Or if he wishes, he can punch this one in. Try and go towards the right side of the table.
Yeah, I also fancy him getting high on this 4 so he can just drop it off the top left long rail. Just maybe a little bit more than that to bring it up around the 9 for shape on the 5 as he's aiming there. Yeah, maybe he can still do that. He's got a good camera angle, got an angle. But this has turned into quite a nice opportunity off the Felix Vogel breaker.
Absolutely.
And to be fair, this is what Alexa needs to do and clearly wants to do. Then gives him every opportunity off of his own break. Early doors, we're only in the second rack of this race to 8. But certainly good looking signs for the young Serb.
Yeah, and the other thing is as well, Gethin, these guys have been on the tour for many, many years. They've been playing all season, all year, all these different Euro tours. So there's no one with a, clear-cut advantage other than, the world number 1, world number, the top 10 of the world, because, they're just used to winning. But in general, all these players are well matched. They can easily beat one another. And so, like Alexa PECELJ, I'm not surprised that he's, so composed, because I've seen his name in the business end of many tournaments.
Yep. Agree with you there as well. We're in the 6th and final Euro Tour of this year, 2025. And just a quick look at Alexa's performance just in 2025 alone. He's had 4 9th places, which is no mean feat. Taken a 9th in the Austrian Open senior event. So he knows how to go deep. Yeah, and he has navigated his way around this pattern very nicely. And, well, after Felix Vogel of Germany won the lag, he finds himself staring at being 2-0 down here. And full credit to the Serbian Alexa, takes a 2-0 lead, and more importantly for him, will retain cue ball, and we will now get to see the first of his set of 2 breaks. Be interesting to see where they break from. I've seen only one person attempt the cut break. Most people trying to get the cue ball as close to the box as possible, are you? Does that just lend for better cue ball control, or?
Well, the consensus in 10 ball is you rarely see someone use the cut break. Usually does not tend to give you better outcome possibilities. How good is that arena, by the way? The lighting it's a dream to play in, by the way. So yeah, for that reason, in 10 ball, you're desperately trying to track a little bit more towards the center line of the table, and to get a good solid hit here on the one.
Oh, a couple of balls got very close to pockets there, are you? But none have dropped, and you would like to say this is not a bad looking opportunity for Felix here. I do like what you said about the arena. We had, before this EuroTour event, 8 days of International Open and Predator WPA World Junior Championships events, and well, had a lot of matches to commentate for that, Aya, and I was using star-studded a lot within my intros. I've now moved that to sparkling, but yeah, it's a mesmerizing hall here at the Gandia Palace Hotel. It's such a beautiful location, and as we were alluding to with the junior players coming through, playing on these tables in this environment with the lights and also even with the shot clock is all seasoning these young players up very nicely for great careers in the sport.
Yeah, exactly, Gethin. The key to
Get
success. Yeah, I think so. I think you can just see the edge of the two, although I'm not so sure whether you can get to the putting angle. Yeah, you can. Because sometimes we all do that, right? As opponents, if you're sat in your chair, you can't really see. All you do is follow the body language of the player at the table. And it gave it away, because otherwise you probably would have been looking away or doing some sort of a head shaking. He's been very fortunate because, well, in all fairness, having run into the three was a pretty poor shot, but it's worked out in his favor.
Yeah, the three's come up quite nicely for his shot here now. And you have to feel that a good 5 to 6 shape, and well, we could see another rack going against the break, and that is going to make this match very interesting for us in the box and at home, because that will mean lots of chances. Yeah, as I mentioned, Felix, all but a few days ago, took the under-19s Junior World Championship here at the Gandia Palace Hotel. But the fact that he came into it knowing it was his birthday and there was possibly a bit of expectation on his shoulders as well, how that young gentleman handled that pressure and had to dig deep against his opponent, well, it just goes to show they build these young players very, very well.
He's bossing around. That's one of the easiest way to put it. I mean, if you would have asked me without knowing the participants, if I would have asked you, look, is Felix Vogel playing? I would have said, well, he's favorite for me. End of. Regardless of who's playing. And I know it sounds maybe disrespectful to the other players, but trust me, I don't mean it that way. Sometimes you're watching an athlete or a young athlete, you just know you're watching someone special, and that is definitely the case with this young man. He is really special and he's really good, and he's already played 2 EuroTour finals as well, mind you. And he's only 19. He's already played 2 men's EuroTour finals. It's not like, he's just that good.
Well, for his opponent's favour, they are 2-0 up against Felix, and well, Alexa has been fighting fire with fire. You just sort of feel Aya, that if one of these players does take the bull by the horn and start getting their breaks working and getting shape on the next ball, they could start to run away with it here, because both players, well, they look like they're running for fun.
Yeah, in play mistakes. I think you'd be lucky to see one or two at best. It's usually either a positional error or maybe the table is just too difficult to solve. But other than that, you won't see, and I hope I don't jinx either of the two players. You won't see a miscue. You won't see a silly miss, like shots like these. This is unmissable, literally unmissable.
No, very well put, Aya. And Felix Vogel gets his account underway, brings the scoreline back to 2-1. And yeah, to second what you were saying there, I think we've missed one. Well, I think we've seen one missed escape and one positional error, and that's it. So world-class stuff on our table. World-class players as well on our other table streaming right now. The matchup between the Pole Matthias Snegocki taking on one of the veterans and very well-known players of the sport, ambassadors and ambassador too, Ralph the Kaiser Suke. Just getting an update on the score there. It was 2-0 to Matthias, and now it's 3-1 still with the Pole. As we get back to the table here for the second of Alexa's breaks, and he's made a ball this time.
But no opening shot, unfortunately. Safety will be the order of the day here. I'm wondering if he can spin the one towards the bottom right area of the table. And try and keep his cue ball towards the right side, top right. I thought he was going to play it no look.
Well, the good sign is Alexis finding balls now on the break. But not position on the next ball. Could just glance off the right-hand side of this one to bring the 9 into play. Elected to try and bring the blue 2 into play, but needed to run into it. Hasn't. It's on the 50-yard line for this one ball, but good position for Felix to either put his opponent in trouble. I don't think.
Well, he's basically just showed us what he's planning to play. Trying to play the cue ball. Yeah, cue ball behind the 9. He'll do well to create some distance. Well, play to perfection, has to be said, Gavin. Absolutely glued to the 9.
Yeah. And as we said, these players are playing so well, Aya, that it's going to take a mistake from getting out of a safety like this to potentially be the difference between these two players.
I didn't detect a call for any pocket. Did you?
No,
Did he call the middle, maybe?
You'd think he would have for insurance. Oh, he's just slid past it, Aya. Don't touch it. Let the cue ball stop. Yeah. So ball in hand.
What a great safety that was, once again, by Felix. See, and this is one of the things, just in general, if you're watching this right now, first and foremost, welcome. This is basically how you need to approach the game. Every shot you take on, you simply try to play it to the best of your abilities. Now, whether it's a safety or it's a pot or it's a break shot, you just put all your energy, all your focus in that one shot, and if you execute it to, well, close as possible to perfection, it just makes the game look ridiculously easy.
Yeah, and also to add to that, because of the level of the players that we find in these EuroTour events now, sometimes it's the only way to keep your opponent quiet is to keep putting them in trouble, and it can be really soul destroying to the best of players when every time they get to the table they've just got no look at anything.
Yeah,
especially when your opponent starts converting the opportunities you leave from your escape. So
yeah, exactly. I mean, to add to the point is, how many times have you heard, maybe yourself, and I can hold my hand up and say I've done this multiple times, is when you're playing, let's say, a safety or even an area, and you go, well, good enough. No, it's not how it works. It basically, whenever you catch someone saying good enough, they're playing lazy position, they're playing lazy pool. Some of these players, they don't settle with good enough. They want perfection. They want it to on a six pins, and that's probably why they're just a little bit better than the rest. It's not because the rest does not practice. This is how they approach the game.
yeah, very good point. And if you can imagine what was actually good enough 10-20 years ago, the way that these players can now jump the cue ball, good enough ain't going to come close. You leave any distance between the cue ball and an object ball that's blocking the pathway, they'll just jump over it, not a problem.
That's gone horribly wrong. He had no business even tracking towards the six. I'm gobsmacked. I don't know what he played there.
Do you think he wanted to stay low of it and ended up tracking towards it?
I actually don't know. I don't. Maybe he had, surprising bounce of the rail. I have absolutely no idea what he played there. Well, he's called this six, I believe, into the top right corner pocket. This is a very, very tricky shot. This is, I'd say, 2 out of 10. Not for this young man, though.
He has come into no man's land for the 8. Quickly calls the bank in the bottom left pocket, which will bring the cue ball up for the 9.
Yeah, and I think that's the right shot regardless. I mean, it's easy to say, oh, he's all out attack, but what else are you going to play here? Even the safety is pretty tricky, so it's actually a very solid shot to go for. And if you play enough bank pool, these are the type of shots you would really fancy making.
Well, Alex is back to the table. With a look at this 8 ball, a lot of distance between the two, and not the easiest of cuts. It's a chance nevertheless.
Yeah, one of the reasons is, if we're brutally honest, Felix's previous bank attempt didn't really even threat the pocket.
No, which makes me think maybe he played it in a fashion with safety in mind. As you said, much better to go full-blooded. But now Felix finds himself in a similar position with distance between the ball, but can get at the cue ball a little bit better with his cue.
He's got a funny old stance, hasn't he, Felix? Almost stands squared up like a boxer.
Well, very effective.
Yeah, to say the least. He's very effective. That's that's for sure.
He's a dead cert for the 1-2 and also for the combinations, if we were to steal a few boxing terms.
It's something you see more often with the pool players. In fact, most of the players. It just relieves a little bit of tension on the hips, I think. That's one of the main reasons.
He's looking at the center pocket here, are you?
Yeah, he's just going to drop this in.
Very nice.
Yeah, I see what you were coming from, Gethin. Yes, these middle pockets have been tricky at times, but still, it is the right shot. There's no point in trying to almost avoid a pocket. That actually is a sign of weakness, and if I can use that phrase, it's also a sign of mental weakness, because now all of a sudden you're trying to avoid certain shots. There's a distinct difference in between adapting versus avoiding. Avoiding is fear-based. Adapting is, conscious decision making.
Good look over at our other stream table with a Matis Snugoczki at the table. He's taking on the Kaiser from Germany, Ralf Suke. And just a quick look at the scores on the doors. Well, Matthias Snugoczki has got a 3-rack advantage over Ralf Suke. He leads by 4 racks to 1. But that brings us back to our 2-2 affair. Felix Vogel starts off his second account of his set of 2 breaks. You won't want to see that, are you?
No, that's pretty much the worst outcome for a pool player if you're breaking. Other than you're playing 9-ball and you leave an unmissable 9-ball combination.
Yeah, that one can certainly sting. He's taking on the 1-3 combination here.
Yeah, interesting choice of shot. I mean, the 3 is potable and the 1 is potable. He doesn't have to play this. I'm not so sure why he's going for this.
Possibly prefers the 2-4 than the 2-3. He certainly has something in the back of his mind. Certainly an interesting shot to take on.
I'll ask you this, since he is in the field, do you think Albin Ushen would have gone about this the way he is seeming to go for?
Well, I would never try to predict what these pro players would do.
I believe this is the most sensible way. The 3 is clearly potable. They're good enough to play a good position. Well, this is like twice across. Long rail, long rail.
Well, he certainly had something in his mind, and he was weighing up the percentages. He's gone back to a more orthodox pattern. Needs a bounce, gets a bounce. Yeah, not a bad position at all, Aya. And again...
No, he needs to be a little bit careful, particularly with the pace of his cue ball here. I mean, if he wants to eliminate any chance of scratching, then he just need to drop the cue ball exactly, well, a little bit further than where his bridging hand is. So it's the middle line of the table. Trying to avoid the 6, just like so. That's perfect. You could have gone in the left side of the 6, but then you see the middle pocket is looming large. He played that to perfection, has to be said.
Well, I think both of us coming in to this match was hoping for a close game. Certainly has the making of that in this, or rather as we get this 5th rack underway. And both players looking strong, still looking for one of them to take it by the scruff of the neck, but that just goes to show how well these players are playing when they are at the table, and possibly just the breaks are the difference between them.
Yeah, that's a very good point, Gethin. It's so far it's only the break that's been the deciding factor. And of course, yeah, some of the snookers, particularly Felix has played, were, well, flawless.
Yeah.
There haven't been any sort of in-play errors.
No, and that's going to bode well for Felix. If the breaks aren't working, if you can rely upon a good safety game, as we've seen from the young German, well, that keeps you in with a very good shout. But the Serbian here has done very well. Wasn't a foregone conclusion.
It's the best feeling in the world, isn't it, Gethin? When you play a shot and you just know it's going to land perfect.
Yeah. Very much so. And that's 2 position shots from Alexa, which left him with very little to worry about. And again, gets back into the lead against the Felix's break. He'll have the second of his set of 2. If Felix can take this one and get it to 3-3, it'll then start to ask some questions of the Alexa break. Close inspection from Felix there. Maybe just a small concern from earlier breaks that he hadn't got them completely locked in. So don't blame him for taking a little bit of extra care over that, with the fine margins between these two. So Felix Vogel to break, trails by 3 racks to 2, race to 8. Makes a ball eye. Ooh, where's the 8 going?
It's a brutal game, eh?
Oh, he can't buy shape on the first ball. There's nothing you can do about that. He's breaking them phenomenally well, keeping good control of the cue ball. And this is the cruel mistress that is pool. Now, does have the option to play a push shot here. In doing so, will give his opponent Alexa the opportunity to either take the shot from where the cue ball rests, or if he's not happy with it, he can give it back to Felix to play. Now, I'm wondering if he can see full ball and even the potting angle, but where that blue 2 is, that might not be the order of the day.
I would have thought he would give this one back, because the safety return is not easy. Yeah, I'd probably give this one back.
Waited for the call from our timekeeper and then hands it back to Felix, who has called a pocket. Now, he may have had something up his sleeve when he played his push shot. So we'll get a chance to find out here, Yaria.
I mean, it does clearly putt past the 7, but you know, the
Does
position
it cut in the middle?
No, I'm not so sure. No, yeah, it was puttable, but so I see he was trying to putt the 1 based on his cue ball and then play the hook behind the 6 of the 2. So it wasn't a bad idea, but the putt on the 1 was far from easy.
Looks like there's a small gap off the cushion between the rail and 1 ball. He may go for the bank here.
Yeah, you said, and I was thinking to myself, I didn't detect him to call the bank, so that's why.
No. And he's played a pretty decent safety there. The one ball may have leaked out. Maybe an edge. That will make life a little bit easier for the young German in this shot. Ooh, bounce and the red 3. Very nice play from the young German. And that's put Alexa in a spot of bother.
I think he can see an edge of this one, can he?
Wow, what a shot. Full-blooded Aya, and, well, if that blue 2 passes into the corner pocket, I don't think it does, but if it did, he'd probably take this on. Now, can he lock it up behind the 6? We'll take a very gentle shot.
That's the difference, wasn't it? I mean, a couple of racks ago, Felix played a fabulous snooker behind the 9, absolutely glued. And I think that is the difference. I'm not saying this is a guarantee by any stretch of the imagination, but if the cue ball would have been touching on the 6, one thing is for certain, this jump shot was not possible.
Well, it's not a jump shot I would even dream to take on. Felix Vogel going airborne over the edge of the 6 and the 3. What a shot! And that's exactly what you were alluding to there, Aya. If your safeties aren't good enough, as Alexa bows his head a little. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the level you're faced against. It's not easy. Even though a different cue sports, I was talking to our dear friend and colleague Graham, and he showed me one shot in the snooker, the UK Championships, and the guy has played it, like almost a perfect safety shot. His opponent, it's 5-0. He picks out a shot to nothing, which is at best a 1 in 10 shots, makes it, and clears the table. End of match. I mean, it's brutal.
Yeah, and it can be the difference between a millimeter or 2 of where the cue ball is positioned. And, well, Felix didn't have the easiest of 3s there as a result from his jump shot, but he has made it look easy and is now in great position on the 5 to hold for the 6.
You can see the dejection on the face of Alexa. And the quality of play by Felix is generally that good. He's almost in disbelief.
Well, and again, neither of these players really making any, if at all, unforced errors. And so it will be these small margins of who can get out of each other's safety with the best result. On this occasion, it was Felix, and, well, this match has every indication of being a thriller, but I do feel this is a good point for Felix to take. Everything's been going against the break so far. This will be the first one that goes with the break. How much that will play a role in this match, or race to 8, well, we'll have to find out, Aya, but if Felix could convert the rack from that great escape, well, it will certainly give him a G up in the right direction.
Yeah, his opening shot was a very, very tough jump. Like you said at the time, you said I would never even dream to go for this. he made it, and this is
No.
the result.
Yeah, great vision, great execution. And well, this should give you an indication of how Felix played to take the under-19 Junior World Championships last week at the Predator WPA event.
Yeah, I don't say this lightly, but the future is very, very bright for Germany. We've got Moritz Neuhausen, but this young man, and of course we've got the established players like no other than the Joshua Filler. But he's a star in the making, that is for sure. And the one thing absolutely love about his play is he's not afraid against any player for that matter, and that's a key ingredient. It's very human to sit there and play some of your heroes and to be starstruck. He's not that type of player. He gets on with it, plays his own game, and well, based off his facial expression, he almost looks unshakable, and that's a good quality to have, aside from all the great shot making he already has.
Well, you pointed out Alexa just dropping his head a little bit after Felix's jump shot. I don't think he has too much to worry about. The match all square at 3-3 as Felix gets his account of 2 breaks underway. And look at the kick on that cue ball. Oh.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate indeed. Needs to stay with it. We all know it's very, very hard to cope with these type of situations, but you just have to, well, be patient, sit in your chair and go, whenever I get the chance, I'll make sure that I'll make the most of it. Easier said than done, of course.
No, of course. I mean, if the scoreline was a bit more treacherous for him, okay, you could understand him putting a bit more pressure on himself. However, at 3-3, you've got to feel a couple of chances will come his way, maybe from the break, maybe from a good safety play. But what you will not want to see is Felix with an open table and in good form. So I mean, you could say where the 6 is, it could get a bit tricky with the 7 locked in next to the 8 up in that corner pocket, but Felix will have had a look at that much earlier on.
Yeah, it's one of the questions we get asked of often, right? When if you got someone taking up the game, for the first time, and some of the questions they ask is usually how many shots you think ahead. Well, in pool, sometimes you think, you're already thinking about how you want to clear the rack. So basically, all the shots, of course, whilst at the table you're playing the shot, you're thinking a maximum of 2 or 3 shots ahead. But like you said, when he came to the table, I know for a fact that he was already trying to figure out how to go about this, particularly with the 6 and the 7, like you said there, Gethin.
Yeah, and he's just giving it a last inspection. Left himself quite a favourable angle on the 5. Could, well, it looks like the 9's blocking the path into the other corner pocket as well. I was going to say, could even from that position come down the short side of it.
But there is another shot alternatively available to him if he does not want to play this 6-7 combination. I think with the angle he has on the 5, he can stun this cue ball just past the right middle pocket for the 6 into the left middle pocket. He's got that angle. If you look at the overview, even from here, he can play that shot if he wants to. You see where the cue ball is heading? So he could have played harder for the 6 into the left center if he does not fancy the risk of potentially locking up the 6 after the 7 combination. Maybe he's looking to pot the 7 with the 6 off the 8. Maybe that's his plan.
He has to be a bit careful because the cue ball will be running towards the 9.
Yeah, it's off the 8. Like I said, I think
I
he
don't
can
think
make
he's
this.
actually too bad there.
No, he can make this.
Brave shot, very creative, and he can go rail first here. Needs to be very delicate with it because the cue ball will want to forever and a day run up the other end of the table. Very gently done, and that was a bit of a difficult situation for him to navigate there. I do like the way he played it off the 8, otherwise he could have been in a much bigger chunk of trouble.
Couple of options here. You can either try and check this cue ball. It's going to be a very delicate shot, or you can play this with left hand spin. Try and send your cue ball towards the left side of the table, just below the middle pocket. Oh, you could go around it. Well, this is not really any good to him. I was thinking if the cue ball would have been more towards the left side, even if it was on the rail, on the left side, just say above the middle pocket, that 9 ball was, well, very makeable. Now he's faced with a difficult shot. I'm not so sure whether he's called a bank or he's trying to cut this one in. No, just playing safe. And it looks to be okay. I think he has got the cover.
I think he has, and that's probably the best he could have done from that position. I don't think it would have been prudent to go aggressive there. And this has actually turned into a very nice shot for him. Very little area at all for Alexa to hope to play a safety, so he's called the top left, going for the jump bank. Oh, that cue ball was tracking towards the corner pocket and has nestled square between the jaws.
You could see who was relieved and who wasn't just by the facial expressions.
Nice spot, nice spot. Well, he's looking at that centre pocket.
Yeah, I was about to say, I would be happy to take the shot. 9 into the middle. I'd be happy to take that shot. Like with his shot making and from what I've seen from him, like as an opponent, if I was to go back to my chair, of course, firstly I would be happy just not to see the cue ball disappear, but I wouldn't be too confident that he's gonna miss it.
Not only that, I thought he was hampered with the cue ball in the corner pocket, so made the pot look very simple, and that was a great call by my colleague. Felix Vogel, after sort of having a mini break, if you would like to call it, has now got into the lead. And it looks like his opponent has just taken a break while we look over at the other table. I would suggest, Arya, that you and I just quickly refresh our drinks, and we will both be back to you very shortly. Please stay with us for the culmination of this winners' second round matchup between Felix Vogel and Alexa PECELJ. We'll be right back. Well, a warm welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to this winner's second round matchup of this Predator EuroTour 10-ball event, the Spanish Open. And a warm welcome to those joining us from our other TV table, where there was a result announced. Matthias Nagocki has progressed through to the winner's qualification round, taking a very convincing win over the Kaiser Ralph Suke by 8 racks to 2. This is a much closer affair, and my name is Gethin Davis. I'm joined in the commentating box with my good friend and colleague Aya Sarabi. Aya, what would be your summary so far that's got us to 4-3 in this match?
Good question. I'd say mainly the break. Not a lot of mistakes being made. Very good shot making for both players, and whoever gets the chance usually converts it. A couple of good safeties as well. So if you've missed this match, that's been pretty much the order of the play. Wouldn't you agree, Gretchen?
I would indeed, and a very fair summary. Some great safety play, probably in balance for the German player, more beneficial. However, Alexa's back to break, trails 4 racks to 3. This is the second of his set of 2 breaks. And made a ball on the last break, but it doesn't look like he's been successful on this one. And, well, good shape on the 1, Aya. Can he hold for the 2?
Yeah, that's the big question here, isn't it? I think, well, I'm tending towards yes, because of how he was pointing his cue. Gives us the impression that he thinks he can. Needs to roll this one in. The good thing is, by rolling it in, if he was to somehow miss it, that 2 and the 10 would block it. Can he just see enough?
I think that was as gentle as he could hit it. From this great camera angle, I'm going to say it's not on. But, well, these young players continue to surprise us in the commentating box.
Yeah, based on his body language, I would say it's just on.
Correct, Aya. It was good read of Felix's body language there. And he's forced the cue ball round. Maybe a bit straight on the 3. But for those new viewers joining us from the other table, or may have only just got in at this point of the match, Felix is coming off the back of a very, very important, and more importantly, excellent performance Predator WPA Under-19 Junior World Champion, all but a few days ago, here at the same venue, showing grit, determination and great form. But Alexa's not let him get his teeth into this match too much as of yet. But as we alluded to at the end of the last rack, Aya, Felix, the only player so far in the match to win one on their own break.
And not only that, I think it would be actually the first time he's been in front in this match. Of course, he's already in front, but I'm saying with 2 racks apart.
Correct. And then getting the break back. Race to 8. So Felix is at the halfway point, but you do feel that if he were to take this rack and a 2 rack lead, and then to begin his set of 2 breaks, you would fancy he was in the stronger position.
Yeah, I mean, I do feel of the two players, based on demeanor around the table, I feel like he's the more confident of the two.
Just had to bridge around the 9-ball. Made it a little trickier, however not a problem for Felix. And this will be a very important, crucial part of the match to take a 2-rack lead. As we said, it was going against break right through to the last rack that Felix won to put himself in the lead for the first time. And well, you couldn't get straighter for your 10-ball, Arya, and that will see the young German Felix take a 2-rack advantage, and it will now be his turn to kick off his set of 2 breaks. This is a double elimination format. We are in the winner's second round. The winner of this match will go through to winner's qualification round. The loser will move over to the loser's side. Slightly shorter races to 6 over in that side, I believe. And also, if you're wondering when the next matches are coming up on the TV tables, indeed any matches, please do visit the EPBF.com website, the European Pocket Billiard Federation, where we'll have all of the fixtures, table numbers, times, players. And also, if you're enjoying this stream, please do like, share and subscribe as we get ready to watch Felix Vogel take his first of his 3rd rack of breaks.
Well, for the first time, one of the two players have now gone towards the side of the table, and I must say, I like this approach. He's tried the conventional, although the break box is in play, the conventional style of breaking has not paid him any sort of dividends. First glance, at least he's got a shot here. It's not an easy layout, of course.
I like that, Arya. Good spot. And I did mention it at the beginning of the match that I've not seen so many players break from the side with a cut break. But if it's not working, you're going to have to try something different. And Felix showing great maturity in being prepared to do just that. And let's see what sort of reward he will get. He's just come on a bit long for the 3 in the top right corner. There's a lot of traffic on this left-hand side of the table, Arya. Good opportunities for safe if he were to elect to go that route.
Yeah, I agree, and it seems to be the only and most sensible option anyway. So, thin of the 3, in between the gap of the 10 and the 7, or actually around the 10. Wants his cue ball to run a little bit further. It is, of course, a full ball hook, but I think the escape is very doable. At the very least, he's got a jumping option here available to him.
Yeah, this certainly isn't the trickiest position Alexa's found himself in today. Felix playing some great safety shots. Alexa not doing too bad from the safety department either. He has escaped from a few, but has fallen foul. But that's really more to a testament to how difficult the safety was. Felix hasn't found the cue ball close to an object ball, so Alexa went airborne, nearly made the bank. Aya. But in missing the bank, has left the red 3 on. The 4's close to the 6 with no real pocket for it, so the young German just looking to come underneath down near the short rail by the glowing predator sign on the beautiful arc table. Oh, and to come into them.
Yeah, I was always expecting that to happen. That was a very tall order.
Yeah, it could have gone really, really nicely for him there. Maybe with just a bit of less pace on it. But instead, not only did the 4 creep back across to the 6, the 5 has made this a very, very tricky shot. Looks like the 1 rail around the 7. Yep, couldn't have done much better from there, to be fair.
Yeah, I agree.
May find himself in a bit of bother, but unless Alexa gets real good distance or locks the cue ball up, you fancy.
If he can thin this and go around the right side of the 6, use the 10. Oh no, he's playing it the other way. This is obviously the path that would have given them most possible outcome. Most likely possible outcome, of course.
Yeah, indeed. Felix just eyeing up the 2 rail escape with a very good chance of potting the 4. Wouldn't put it past him, and in doing so may even get shape on the 5. So oh, just picked up the 2nd rail too early.
Yeah, that's a tricky one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Usually you would say forced error, from if we're technically speaking, but such as his pedigree, it almost feels like an unforced error rather than a forced error.
Yeah, and Alexa's taken the 5 up to the top left, was the real obvious pocket for it for where the 6 was. And will not be needing to do too much with the cue ball to hold for the 6. This, or if the cue ball behaves. I was about to say this would be a great opportunity for Alexa to snub out the flame that Felix Vogel has in his game at the moment, and well, he's just overhit that. That is an unforced error, actually, isn't it, Aya?
Absolutely, and the worst part of it is self-inflicted. There's no reason he should have landed there, and well, you can clearly see the disappointment on his face, on his body language. Needs to keep himself together here. He could come up with a very decent answer on this dilemma. I was thinking kick and stick, so try and send the 6 up table and use the 7 or the 8 to hook the 6.
Oh, needs it to come behind the 10. I think half a ball is showing.
Yeah, but very limited is Felix with his options here. So all in all, it was a pretty decent reply, given the fact that he ran out of position.
Just hear a call of time from our match official. Both players are under the shot clock. And, well, there is an edge, perhaps, of the 6. If he doesn't see the potting angle, there may be. He can jump, but his body language seems to be telling us it's on.
Yeah, I feel it is on, based on this camera angle. Needs to take care of the 8 ball, of course, that's in its way. Playing position on the 7. Seems to be okay.
Yeah, and even if it is a bit flat on the 7, can play the 8 back up into the top left pocket and then let the cue ball do the work for the 9. May feel he wants to just hold for the 9 in the top right. Well, after that unforced error, Alexa's back at the table, are you? With a good look at bringing the scoreline back to 5-4, and I do feel this is the time he needs to start making his move, because Felix was really looking like getting in his groove, which were danger signs for the young Serb.
Yeah, you're right there, Gethin. And of course, like ideally, he would like to win both of the 2 breaks on Felix's turn. But even if he could share it, at worst it would be 6-4. It's still doable, but 7-3 would have been a tall order, wouldn't it? In a race to 8.
Yeah, exactly. And well, I was sort of pointing out earlier it needed someone to take the match by the scruff of the neck, and Felix did exactly that for the last 2 racks. So Alexa needed to do something and deliver something, which he has done. And now we get to see the second of Felix's breaks. And, you know, we've seen what these players are capable of, Arya. One dry break and we could see this match back to level. So, still not going to pick it. But Felix was feeling certainly in the ascendancy, and Alexa just riding a little bit by the seat of his pants in that last rack.
So now you're getting poetic as well, eh?
Hidden talents everywhere, are you? Okay, Felix leading 5 racks to 4 with the break. Race to 8. Place in winners' qualification. Ooh, did I curse it by saying dry break? Because that's exactly what's happened. Bit of a gnarly cluster with the 3-9, perhaps.
Yeah, well, it's
Or
not
maybe
about
not.
jinxing it, but let's be factual. I think we've only seen 1 break and run, haven't we? And both of the players are, you know, immaculate players, top level. So it's only been the break that's, you know, eluded both of them.
Yeah, and unforced errors we can count on 3 fingers, I reckon. So this match, high quality, the scoreline reflecting how tight it is. And, well, it's not the cleanest cut of opportunities for Alexa here, but what a time to put one in here and bring the scoreline back to 5-5. Position for the 3
Played to perfection.
It's played to perfection indeed. Took the words right out of my mouth there. And, well, is the 9 going to be moving, Aya? Is there going to be some...
I think he can just avoid it. He can play this with a bit of right spin from where he's addressing the cue ball. And it seems like the 4 does pass the 9. I mean, that was what he was looking at. Yeah, it does. I think he's landed a little bit awkward though on the 4. I'd love to be able to just punch this cue ball towards the right side of the table. Might have to draw it back now because it's off straight on the opposite side. Again, played to perfection. 4 to 5. And now, yeah, you'd think if he lands nicely on the 7, which is a big odds on for him, the rest of the rack looks like a formality.
Yes, formality is a word that we're very careful to use. But as we've seen, both these players have been making formidable clearances against each other. Doesn't want to be too careless with his positioning here. This is the time where everything needs to straighten up nicely.
It's got a pretty long bridge hand, I feel. So, you don't see that often these days anymore. It does enable more power on the follow through, of course.
Yeah, that's a good spot. And it is not such a familiar sight. But what Alexa Pachel is hoping is that this winning form will become a familiar sight. As, well, he's done the business, you have to say. Felix was looking like he was going to run away with this for the second half of the match, but after the break, it looks like Alexa's just found a bit of form, and one dry break from Felix has allowed him to get in, bring the scoreline back to level. We've got as a match here, Aya. The break format really helping this along as well, to be fair.
Yeah, only and solely the break has been the main factor here in this match. I mean, as you could see there, both players, once they get a chance, yeah, you can bet your house on it. Most of the times, 9 times out of 10, they will take full control. But the break, and they're not been breaking bad. I mean, they've been breaking actually almost textbook. But for some whatever odd reason, these balls are just refusing to drop. Not on that occasion, though. What a layup is that?
A fantastic break. Someone was listening to you upstairs.
I reckon
thought,
break and run.
Oh, it'd be a great time for Alexa to do it. An absolutely great time for him to do it. And I do like why you say that, Aya. The spread of the balls, well, you could say delicious. Arguably, the 6 could be a bit of a pain with the 10 blocking it. So may just need to be a bit particular from the 5 to 6, but what a time to have a look at a break and run.
If he can get a little bit closer to the 5, I think trying to control the cue ball becomes even increasingly more easier. This is something I picked up from Alex Lely, actually, funny enough. We were both doing commentary, and we had a situation when the player seemed to have landed pretty straight, and he alluded to the fact, he said, look, whenever I'm close to the object ball, even if I'm dead straight, I can still manufacture some sort of a angle. So that's the main factor for me. And I never thought about it that way, but it makes sense what he said. And ever since, it's changed my approach as well. Like even there, the 5 was unmissable. But because he got his cue ball close, this positional shot was a lot easier than if he would have played a stop shot on the 4.
Just looking at the angle he has on it, maybe he can screw back down towards this bottom left long rail to take the 7 up into the top left.
No, I think he's gonna. I think the 7 into the side, although. Yeah, he's running a little bit away from. See, even where the 6 is now is pretty thin, but still controllable. So you might be right there, get in, but I do think he is favoring the middle pocket for the 7. No, he isn't. No, he isn't. He played the shot you reckoned, and he's played it
done that
to
very
perfection.
Well, we don't like to allude to the commentator's curse, but that was a very brave call by my co-commentator, Arya Sarabi. A testament to his read of the game. But more importantly, the business needed to be done by our young Serbian. And he has gladly obliged so far. And floating the cue ball down for the 10, Arya. And, well, may have been difficult to predict that Alexa was going to take the lead in such fashion. But clearly the break that the players have taken have worked to his benefit, and he has done exactly that and wins our 11th rack to bring the score to 6-5, so 2 away. Well, Felix not getting it his own way, and that's a testament to the character from the young Serbian. But you nailed it, Arya. A break and run at the best time possible for him. And if he can do the same again, he will find himself on the hill.
Yeah. This will be his penultimate last break. If it goes 7-0, he'll get one last break, but as far as he is concerned, he wants to make sure he is the first player to go on the 7 mark.
Yeah. Alexia Pachel to break, leading 6 racks to 5 in this race to 8. Oh, the 9 has dropped. The 1 threatened to stick on that short rail. Alexa stays at the table.
How would you go about this, Gethin? I would be actually considering the pot here, the cut on the 1.
Yeah, where the 2 is. Not a bad shot. He could play the 1 ball more fuller with some top right to try and encourage the cue ball to come up behind the 2 if he wanted to go safe. Looks like he's playing the safety, called the middle pocket as a bit of insurance perhaps. Yeah, focused on the cue ball very nicely there. I could have locked it in against the 7, which would have been a much better result.
Yeah, you're right. I think Felix has called a 4 ball, so he's almost trying to hit this one and try and putt it in the corner where the 4 is sitting.
Just to
got a
point out the
chance.
winner. I was just pointing out, the winner of this match will go through to winners qualification, and then matches will be kicking off at just after 8 p.m. this evening. Ooh.
Wow.
Well, that cue ball,
I
I think, kissed both jaws of the centre pocket and has held there.
I bet Alexa is delighted.
Well, good safety.
Yeah. How is that cue ball not dropped? Up and down. Trying to use the 4 balls. 10, 6, 8 and a 7. Yeah. Oh, has he left a gap? I think he has, you know.
He didn't want to leave a window there. Ooh. And these are the small margins, especially with these players at the level they're playing, can change the match.
They sure can get in. I mean, just remains to be seen whether he actually goes on and to convert this rack, Felix, but we've seen it happen in the past, a match being decided by a minor detail, and next thing you know, the player who, well, failed to pay the perfect safety is now facing his opponent, breaking and running the match, I should say.
Yeah, and you could say advantage Felix from this safety. However, Alex is going airbound, jumping 2 balls, I believe. Oh, I have to say the jump looked very pretty. The 1 ball refused to go. And I alluded to advantage Felix. It certainly looks like that is now the case. Felix responding well.
That was a very, very good attempt. And in cue sports, I hate the term close or nearly because it is basically
Not in.
of no value, to be honest. But considering the difficulty degree of that shot and to get so close and still come up short is painful from his point of view.
Yeah, and that when you sit back in your chair and you get to see your opponent run out from the result of it, it's a bit of salt in the wounds. But a great time for Felix to respond to his opponent taking the lead. If we were to win this, it would take us to a race to 2.
Yeah, it always had the hallmarks of being a very close encounter, didn't it? Right from the get-go. And, well, both players have not disappointed. They came up with the
not
goods.
at all.
Like we said, it's mainly been the break that's been the party spoiler for both players to run away with this match.
Yeah, and the way both players are playing, if one player had got the break working, this scoreline could have looked a lot different. Because they've both looked deadly in and amongst the balls. Again, Alexa's looking a little bit dejected over there, but he shouldn't be. He's very much in this match. In fact, he's got the lead. He's looked like that a couple of times in this match. doesn't seem to have affected his approach, which is good. So can just pop this cue ball off the long rail for shape on the 6.
Yeah, just on that previous subject, Gethin, it's one of the misconceptions about showing emotion. It's not about, it's fine to show emotion, but you know, can you recover? That's the main thing. I mean, in sports, you have to take it on the chin and recover one way or the other. And if you show emotion in between, but it does not influence your decision making nor your play, then it's fine. Within the realms of acceptable behavior, of course.
Of course. Well, you know, every player has their own idiosyncrasies. It's great to see those players that are more emotional. It sort of helps you get a little bit of a window into the way they play. But some of these players have the most incredible poker faces. I certainly wouldn't want to gamble against them at any sport.
Yep.
One good position from the 8 ball here. And Felix Vogel showing the grit and determination that brought him his Predator WPA Under-19 Junior World Championship all but a few days ago. And yeah, he's having to do it the hard way, and he's having to come from behind to bring it all square to 6 apiece. And this is where the match is going to take its biggest leap, I feel. Felix now begins his account, or rather set of 2 breaks. Both players only needing to clinch this match. So I think we better hold on to our chairs at Aya. We're getting to the business end, and both these guys look ready for business.
This is
just to let you know.
Yeah.
Sorry,
go on.
I was just about to say the winner of this match will go through to the winners qualification. And just a quick look at the board on our epbf.com website. I see the winners qualification will commence at 8:15 tonight local time. It's now 1:45 local time, so that's what, 6.5 hours from now, and we have many matches in between being streamed to you on our live TV tables. Let's go, Aya Sarabi. It's 6 apiece in this race to 8. Felix Vogel to break.
These coming 2 breaks are crucial, you think?
Ooh, that's 3 down. And more importantly for Felix, he's got a good look at the 1 ball. Doesn't mean he's going to go for it, but it certainly gives him the best opportunity to keep control in this 13th rack. Well, we've all gone quiet with anticipation. Felix has given us a couple of looks. Is he taking this 1 ball on to the bottom right corner? Played it delicately, Aya. Didn't make it. The 3 was a bit of an insurance policy.
Yeah, I think he actually played it that way. He had a little bit of safety in mind. Knew that if he would run into the 3, odds were he would cover the 1 if it was missed.
So just the edge of the 3, by the looks of it from this great camera angle. It's certainly on. We've seen him make some great jump shots, not necessarily converting them into pots, but in themselves just making the jump shot available is a feat in itself. This is going to be an interesting one at 6-6. Makes the jump, doesn't make the pot. Could have covered the 1, but from this angle, thank you production team, there's an edge for Felix.
Yeah, but it's landed a little bit awkward here. I think he's pretty limited with his options here. Might have to send the 1 towards the side rail, try and cover it with the 3.
That's indeed what he's tried to do. Is there a gap between the 3 and the rail?
Well, his opponent thinks that there is, so... And
Yeah,
I think he has called the 1.
Watch this one very closely. And he hit it clean, yeah.
He sticked it up.
Ooh.
This is a great chance. Great chance now for Felix.
Yeah, if that 1 ball had rolled a little bit shorter, this would have been very, very tricky for Felix. However, now...
If I had a race car, I could have been in the Formula 1. No, I'm just joking. But yeah, it's fine margins. Like we said right after the break, it's been the break. It's been, well, very few errors really. I mean, let's not forget he was in trouble. It's not like he was playing poor shots.
Digging into this cue ball. Just popping it down to take the 6 in the same pocket, and well, this will be great for Camp Vogel to see Felix get on the hill first. And he will have the next break. So has he timed his moment to perfection? Or is there still another twist in this winner's second round match?
That's perfect.
That answers that question, huh? Well, we thought we were going to have us a match on our hands to commentate today. We have exactly that. As closely contested as you'll get it. Felix Vogel has pipped the first of his 2 breaks to get to the hill. His opponent just 1 rack behind. Alexa will be sat in his seat for the start of this penultimate rack. It could be the final rack if it goes Felix's way. And just while we're watching Felix rack them up, Our next match on our TV tables will be taking place at 3:30, so there's a small break for the players and for ourselves. 3:30 is an hour and a half, just over an hour and a half from now. Should give you enough time to get fed and watered, but don't be doing that just yet. Felix Vogel will have the break, and he's on the hill, 7-6, in an absolute clanger of a second round winners matchup. We knew it would, or it had the potential to be like this, but getting to witness it is fantastic. He's made one, made two, made three, just as he did in the previous rack. What a time to peak on the brakes. Wow. What have you got to say about that, Arya?
Oh, great break, and I'm just wondering, how does he get on the 2 here? Off the 1, of course.
Oh, it's a 2-4 combination up into the bottom right.
Even that, how does he play on the top side of the table?
Well, good angle here shows there is a good gap. There's a bank, and the 2 also could combine onto play a combination on the 9 where it's found on the middle pocket, but as you've pointed out, that cue ball, after he pots this 1, will go running up to the top of the table. May even go safe if he doesn't fancy it. Oh, that's nicely done.
You mean from the 2? I mean, the only viable safety is here, right? If he feels he can't pot the 2, then he has to stick his cue ball behind a 4. But I think he has landed absolutely perfect. It's exactly where he was pointing with his cue. Anyway, so you tend to think if he can just roll this in, the 4 will go into the bottom left corner pocket. So just a matter of controlling the cue ball after this pot, and he should be favorite to run out this match.
Have to agree.
I think the 4 does pass the 6, so same scenario, only different pocket.
Yeah, he's just having a good look at where he wants to be for this 8. Just wondering if he could screw over towards the 9 ball to leave the 8 in this bottom corner pocket as we see it.
Yeah, or you can just stun it in between the 10 and the 8, for the 8 into the side.
Which he has elected to do to great effect. Alexa gets out of his chair, Arya, and shakes him by the hand, concedes the rack and the match. Well, what a thriller we had there.
That's when
Vogel. Oh, sorry.
That's when you know you're really, really good. Your opponent is. They just know you're not gonna miss. And well, I'm sure people in the chat will have an opinion on the fact that he's given up, where his opponent still had to pot it 3 balls. But that's the nature of his game. Felix, very, very good player, and he's definitely one of the favorites for this title. Make no mistake about that.
Indeed, and he will progress through to the winners' qualification matches that will commence later this evening. Alexa Pachel with the double elimination format will go into the losers bracket, so we'll have another chance of progressing deep into the tournament. We are having a break now for the next hour and a half, but if you want to keep up to date with the scores as they're taking place, please do visit the website epbf.com, the European Pocket Billiards Federation. And also, if you're enjoying the stream and the content that we're bringing to you, please do like, share, and subscribe. And please do keep an eye on what's coming up next and click on the notification button. My name's Gethin Davis. What a great second round winners match we've been presented with. And a big thank you to my colleague Arya Sarabi for the great work. We will be back in an hour and a half.